Have you ever thought about the social impacts of tourism? How it can sometimes have a darker side? Today, we're exploring the less discussed aspects of tourism, the social impacts that aren't always so picturesque. While tourism can bring economic prosperity and cultural exchange, it can also introduce some negative aspects, and that's our focus in this video series. We'll be examining the phenomenon of sex tourism, a deeply complex issue that raises moral, legal, and social questions. It's crucial to understand the reasons behind it, the volume, and how it can be mitigated. We'll also be looking at the role of gambling and drugs within the tourism industry. Both of these elements can significantly affect local communities and economies. So why are we discussing this? Because understanding these aspects helps us shape a more responsible and sustainable tourism industry. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the social impacts of tourism, beginning with sex tourism. Sex tourism, a dark underbelly of the tourism industry, often goes unnoticed. But what exactly is it? Well, to start, sex tourism is a sector of the global tourism market in which people travel with the primary objective to engage in commercial sexual activities. This may range from individuals traveling to regions where prostitution is legal to more sinister forms like human trafficking and child exploitation. Now, you might be wondering, how prevalent is this? The unfortunate reality is that sex tourism is not just a small, isolated issue. It thrives in many parts of the world due to various socioeconomic factors. Countries with lax laws and regulations around prostitution, coupled with high rates of poverty, often become hotspots for sex tourism. But why does it persist? There are a myriad of reasons, many rooted in societal and economic disparities. Poverty and unemployment can force individuals into the sex trade, while wealthier tourists may exploit these conditions for their advantage. It's a grim cycle that's difficult to break. And of course, sex tourism raises numerous legal and ethical concerns. In places where it's illegal, it can lead to a surge in crime rates. Ethically, it's a matter of human rights, dignity, and respect. Exploiting vulnerable individuals for sexual gratification is a violation of basic human decency. So, what are the legal implications? Well, laws vary widely around the world. Some countries have strict regulations against sex tourism, while others turn a blind eye. However, international law is quite clear. Human trafficking, child exploitation, and forced prostitution are serious crimes, punishable under numerous treaties and conventions. As we've seen, sex tourism is a complex issue. It's not just about individuals seeking pleasure. It's about systemic inequality, exploitation, and the violation of human rights. But what can be done to address it? This is a question that requires our collective attention, and one that we'll delve into in the next scene. Mitigating the negative impacts of sex tourism requires a multifaceted approach. Across the globe, nations and communities are adopting a variety of strategies to combat this issue. Legal measures are a primary tactic. Governments are enacting stricter laws and regulations against sex tourism and ensuring their rigorous enforcement. This includes penalties not just for those who sell, but also for those who buy these illicit services. Then there's the power of awareness. Non-governmental organizations and activists are running campaigns to educate the public about the realities of sex tourism and the exploitation it often involves. They're engaging with communities, making sure the message reaches everyone, from locals to potential tourists. Finally, the tourism industry itself is stepping up. Travel agencies, hotels, and other businesses are implementing policies against sex tourism, providing training to employees and collaborating with law enforcement agencies. While these measures can help, the tourism industry still faces other challenges, such as the impact of gambling and drugs. Gambling and drugs, two other elements that can negatively impact the social fabric of tourist destinations. In the world of tourism, gambling often acts as a double-edged sword. On one hand, it attracts a considerable amount of tourists, boosting local economies and creating employment opportunities. But on the flip side, gambling can breed addiction, leading to a host of social problems. It's not uncommon to find that areas with high concentrations of casinos and gambling facilities also have higher crime rates, from petty theft to more serious offenses. This can lead to a sense of insecurity and reduced quality of life for local residents, disrupting the social harmony of the community. Now, let's talk about drugs. Tourist destinations, especially those known for their vibrant nightlife or music festivals, often see a surge in drug usage. While some may argue that this is part of the experience, the consequences are far from harmless. Increased drug use can lead to an array of problems, from health risks to the users to an uptick in crime and violence. It also contributes to economic instability, as resources are redirected towards combating drug-related issues rather than being invested in sustainable development. Moreover, both gambling and drug use can lead to a form of tourism that is unsustainable and harmful in the long run. The short-term economic gains can be overshadowed by the long-term social costs, creating a cycle of dependency that is hard to break. But let's not forget that these issues are not insurmountable. As with sex tourism, raising awareness, implementing stricter regulations, and promoting responsible tourism are all steps in the right direction. It's about striking a balance between providing an attractive tourist experience and maintaining the well-being of the local community. Like sex tourism, the issues of gambling and drugs in tourism are complex, but understanding them is the first step towards finding solutions. We've covered a lot of ground today, so let's recap. We began our journey with a dive into the social impacts of tourism, emphasizing that while tourism can bring economic prosperity, it also has the potential to bring about social changes, some of which are less desirable. We delved into the murky world of sex tourism, a disturbing but real aspect of the tourism industry. We learned that it's driven by various factors ranging from economic disparity to lax laws and cultural attitudes. It's an issue that transcends borders and affects societies worldwide. Then we explored the remedial measures for curbing sex tourism. These range from enforcing stricter laws and penalties to raising awareness and promoting responsible tourism. We also discussed the importance of collaboration between governments, tourism industry stakeholders, and local communities in tackling this issue. Next, we ventured into the impacts of gambling and drugs on tourism. We saw how gambling can draw tourists, boosting local economies, but can also lead to addiction and societal issues. Similarly, we discussed how the drug trade in certain tourist destinations can lead to increased crime rates and social unrest. Throughout, we've underscored the importance of understanding the social impacts of tourism. These are complex issues, but by examining them closely, we can begin to find solutions. Remember, every tourist destination is a community, and each community deserves respect and care. In essence, tourism, when managed responsibly, can be a force for good. It can bring economic benefits, foster cultural exchange, and contribute to global understanding. But it also has the potential to bring about negative social impacts, and it's up to us to mitigate these. Understanding these issues helps us become more responsible tourists and industry professionals. As we navigate the world of travel and tourism, let's keep these lessons in mind, ensuring that our actions contribute to the well-being of the destinations we visit and the communities we interact with. Now that we've covered the main points, let's delve a little deeper. Our exploration of the social impacts of tourism, specifically sex tourism, gambling, and drugs, has given us a lot to think about. These are complex issues with no easy solutions, but by understanding them better, we can begin to address them in a meaningful way. Sex tourism is a global issue, one that is often hidden in the shadows. It is driven by a variety of factors, such as economic disparity, lack of education, and cultural attitudes. Remedial measures are multifaceted, involving not just law enforcement, but also social services, education, and advocacy. When it comes to the impact of gambling and drugs on tourism, we must recognize that these activities, while they may bring economic benefits, can also carry significant social costs. From addiction and crime to social dislocation and health problems, these impacts can be profound and far-reaching. To further your understanding of these topics, we have compiled several annexures. These include case studies, research papers, and articles that delve deeper into the social impacts of tourism. We encourage you to explore these resources to gain a broader perspective and deeper understanding of the issues at hand. We also invite you to reflect on the clues to answers we've provided throughout this video. These insights are designed to stimulate your thinking and encourage you to dig deeper into these complex issues. Remember, the goal here is not to provide definitive answers, but to foster a spirit of inquiry and critical thinking. In conclusion, the social impacts of tourism are far-reaching and complex. They require our attention, our understanding, and our commitment to finding solutions that are fair, sustainable, and ethical. As future leaders in the field of travel and tourism management, we have a responsibility to address these issues head-on. Remember, understanding the social impacts of tourism is key to creating a more sustainable and ethical industry.